Welcome everyone to Topic Wonders episode 11. I am your host Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Steampunk StarRaisin.
Of Everstreet.com.
I'm with Ray. What's up, Ray?
We're gonna blow your mind tonight.
Well, I don't know about that, but we have. Well, first let's start off with the planet. You want to start off with the planet story? Steampunk.
I'm
A
little bit lacking in knowledge on that. Is Planet Wolf?
Yeah, there was they found a red dwarf star, which is a sun, that they call Wolf 1061. Okay, and 3 planets orbit that, which is Wolf 1061 B, C, and D. Now they're saying in the Goldilocks zone that Wolf 1061C. It is predicted that it is the closest to being inhabited, hospitable to life. They predict that there's a rocky surface, there is liquid. It is like 4 times the mass of the Earth.
Oh.
So, again, there's not confirmed. It's 14 million light years away. So,
well, the technically Mars is on the outer edge of the Goldilocks zone, but the reason why Mars is such a different configuration is Mars has less mass and its atmosphere eroded away much quicker than Earth's. Earth's atmosphere is eroding away too, but slower.
right.
And the biggest thing about Mars that's kind of detrimental to life, or maybe any complicated form of life other than maybe microscopic, is Mars has no magnetic field. Just because it has no magnetic core. That the magnetic field on Earth is what helps protect it from cosmic rays from the sun. And so it's not just a matter of it being, the Goldilocks zone, not too hot, not too cold. You also have to have it's life as we know it. It's possible life may exist in another configuration. But life as we know it, like on Earth, you would need a very strong magnetic field to protect against solar radiation and protect eroding the atmosphere. So there's other considerations as well. And also having the right combination of elements. If you don't have the right combination of organic molecules, then it may not be possible for life to exist, even if it is in the Goldilocks zone. So there's a lot of other issues to consider that they won't be able to determine unless they actually send a spacecraft out there, which right now, unfortunately, is beyond our technological capability.
Right. So, I mean, as information becomes available, we will fill you in on more planets that they find and different space phenomena and stuff like that. We have some sad news to report today. I actually found out yesterday, as I got up during the night, I found out that David Bowie had passed away.
Yeah, that's terrible news. I was a fan of David Bowie. I loved him for his music. I wasn't as big a fan of his acting, but I loved him for the music.
I couldn't believe that he was battling cancer for 18 months.
He kept it secret. That it didn't get released until after he was died. He had been diagnosed with liver cancer 18 months ago and decided to keep it private. And then he died, I think, in the company of his wife and friends in his own home.
And he just turned 69, I believe. And he just
released a new album.
He done it Friday. He turned 69 Friday.
And he just released a new album.
I'm not being rude. At least he saw his birthday.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Not many people
just celebrate your birthday. I thought he was in good health, but like they said in a news article, he had kept it secret, and I thought he was going to be around at like 80 years old. But anyway, so it's sad to me because I was a big fan, very talented. I've seen interviews with David Bowie. He seemed like a very nice, gentle guy.
Right. I remember when I was younger. They had, I think it was a show called Friday Night Videos, and they had showed videos at Friday night late, and they showed him with Mick Jagger dancing in the streets. Growing up he was in Labyrinth as the Goblin King,
Mm.
as well as many different things he's done besides music, and he's done acting. This is very, very sad news.
Well, I really like that music video he did in the late '90s with Trent Reznor. I'm Afraid of Americans. That's a really good, catchy song. It's like Nine Inch Nails collaborating with David Bowie. It was awesome.
Yeah. Now they also had they had considered him to play a cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That before this happened, they were talking about that because everybody's a fan of David Bowie, and as we know, so was Peter Capaldi, the doctor who modeled his whole, look. Basically, it was a part of that David Bowie. So,
Plus the guitar was on him and all.
yeah. So,
Yeah, it's definitely a bummer because it was somebody I respected, and it was somebody that I never got a chance to meet.
yes.
So definitely a down day.
I know. This this show is basically about real life topics and things that goes on in the world. This has been a crazy past couple of days too.
What with Angus Scrim dying now, David Bowie. What with Angus?
Who else died?
Angus Scrim, the one from Phantasm.
Oh yeah, we announced
What
that
with
he
him
died.
dying?
Oh, okay.
What with him dying now, David Bowie?
Yeah, and then we had a Disney star had just passed away too, 31 years of age.
31.
Yeah.
Jesus.
They're playing David Bowie music here at Starbucks, but with my mic though, I don't think you can hear it. It's filtered out.
Wow. Yeah, we can't hear it anyway because then we'll, ruin the whole thing.
No,
Yeah.
no, of course. I'm just an observation. This is like the third. Somebody
the Disney star that died was Michael Galota at 31 years of age. He was of New Jersey, and he was also, what else was he in? Just want to read what he was in too. Let's see.
What a crazy new year, eh?
Yeah. Sad stuff.
It's the same. I'm not even really. It was the same as last year. We lost a couple big stars, and then everyone else side seemed to go.
Yeah, so I mean, David Bowie. That's a blow, man. That's
the first big one.
I mean, they're all important,
I know, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So, did you want to do any talk about anything steampunk that you're interested in the news lately?
I mean, it's kind of old news. I mean, North Korea blew up a nuke like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I heard about that. There was also talk about Donald Trump had wanted to shut down the internet for certain people. That, like, in other words, like certain.
I think I heard something about that. He said the thing about Donald Trump. He says so many crazy things. It doesn't surprise me.
I saw Donald Trump. Was it a writing thing seeing on Facebook? They threw out a Muslim from one of these things.
Well, what we're talking about now is he had said that he wants the internet is being used for terrorism and stuff like that, and he wanted to cut off a certain part of the internet where people can't use it.
He said that like a couple of weeks ago, but it's crazy because he must not understand the nature of the internet.
Right.
I mean, there's certain websites that are banned in the United States, but they can still be accessed from other parts of the world, or if you use a proxy server. There's a number. The internet's a complex network of computers, and there's just not one off switch to it. Now you could filter a portion of the internet from everybody who accesses it from the United States, but I would disagree with that. That it would only violate net neutrality, but I think it could potentially hurt the economy in the United States if you do that, because the businesses would be like, well, what can I say or do without worrying about being censored? But yeah, Donald Trump. scares me because I thought he was just maybe advertising his reality show and be like, oh, I'll do a trial run for president, not seriously. But now that he's spending millions of dollars on TV ads, he's serious about becoming president, and I don't support his presidency because everything he talks about is by definition fascist.
Hmm.
He follows the basic tenets of fascism. I mean, Nazism being one form of fascism, but he would be more like a Bruto Mussolini style fascist.
Oh, you really think so?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Because you could take the word Muslim and replace it with Jew or any other minority group, and it's scary. It's the same kind of talk that Hitler had before he came to power. And
I don't see him in any way like that.
I do.
Really,
I do. I just
wow.
base it on his words. And, he behaves like a spoiled.
But has he done anything to hurt anybody? Really?
Yes, he has.
He's
declared bankruptcy 4 times.
But how does that really hurt?
Well, he costs people their livelihood. What he does for a living, he's a vulture capitalist. A lot of people don't realize this about Donald Trump. The reason why he's able to declare bankruptcy 4 times and still have good credit, because he does it with corporate credit. What he does, he buys out a company that's doing well. And Bain Capital and Mitt Romney did the same thing. It's the same kind of yoke. They buy out companies that do well, and then they leverage their debt. And then they declare bankruptcy and pay themselves really huge salaries. And after leveraging the debt, they declare bankruptcy and sell off the assets, and causing everybody who worked at that company their livelihood. So yeah, he's harmed people. He hasn't harmed them maybe physically, but when you put somebody out of the job, they had a high-paying job at a successful company, and you destroy that company for your own personal gain. I mean, the guy's a spoiled brat.
So he hasn't done anything to help people, you're saying? In your opinion?
I feel like that anything he's done to help people has been less than the damage he's done. He's done more harm than good.
Wow. That's your opinion, though.
Well, that's my opinion, but I think that you can also put that to the scientific method based on the fact that he declared bankruptcy 4 times and he costs a lot of people their livelihood just for the sake of.
So who are you voting for then? Obviously, you're not voting for Donald Trump, so.
I would vote for Bernie Sanders.
Okay, that's interesting.
He's a true progressive. Hillary Clinton, not a true progressive. Hillary Clinton is like a center-right candidate. If you base it on her policies, she's closer to being Republican.
Gotcha. All right.
Do you know who you're voting for yet, Joe?
Not yet.
I think I have
plenty of time. What?
I think I have an idea. You're voting for Trump, aren't you?
You think I'm voting for Trump?
Okay.
No, you might vote for Clinton.
No, that is a negative. But totally negative. But yeah, don't they say you're not really supposed to mix politics? I mean, I'm asking political questions.
Well,
yeah, well,
you were the one that brought up Trump.
I did. So, gotta say, it was so weird. Just to get a little about the weather. I know we're going all over the place today, but the other day, yesterday, it was 63 degrees here. This morning, it was like 33. Freezing. How the heck could you have that drop of a temperature and it not really affect the grand scheme of things? I mean,
well, LA, we typically drop 20 or 30 degrees in one day. It's a desert. It's a dry desert-like climate here.
This week we're having our lowest temperature, well, like -5, -4, and we're having heavy snowfall.
Tomorrow we're gonna have snow tomorrow.
Well, I'm actually technically in downtown Hollywood, but if you know anything about Hollywood, it's just a neighborhood in LA. But in Los Angeles, Hollywood area, the coldest it's gotten this year is 37 degrees. But it rarely ever gets below freezing here. I just pulled up, since that's what the media has been focusing on. The media hasn't really focused that much on the Democratic primaries or the Democratic candidates. But I'm looking up the Republican presidential candidates. I'm familiar with all of them except for one, and I think they're all bad. I can't see any of them. My mother supports.
Well, let me ask you a question before you say they're all bad. What are you, Democrat or Republican?
I'm a Democrat.
Okay.
I consider myself a moderately progressive Democrat. But yeah,
Gotcha.
my mother, who is a Republican, supports Ben Carson, and I think he's just as crazy as Donald Trump. I don't like Ben. I stab people. You know, like Ben Carson, for a short time, he was actually leading Donald Trump, and it looked like the nomination might shift towards him. But then now, recently, polls have shifted back towards Donald Trump. But Ben Carson, when he was in the lead, he was saying crazy things like he stabbed somebody in high school, and then when you go back to, you find out that he's lying, because when you go back to people he went to high school with, they said that he was a peaceful, nerdy kid, never attacked anybody, and you can't really identify who he supposedly stabbed. And it's like, why would you use that as a bragging right?
I don't know.
You know, what I'm just saying, I'm giving the example of why I think none of the Republican candidates are good, because they all have crazy ideologies of one way or the other.
Right.
You know, you had Chris Christie, who is responsible for the death of, I think, at least 2 people, because he closed down the interstate out of spite because he didn't.
Okay,
like
well, see that. Hold on, with that, that's people in his party did that. There was
but they actually showed.
Did that.
Well, they have actually shown. He claimed that they showed that
he fired the people that did that. But
it still puts a taint on him. I'm just summarizing. And Ted Cruz is now having citizenship problems. See, I follow politics. Ted Cruz is having citizenship problems because there was a voter registration that showed his parents were registered Canadian voters in 1974, and that was well after he was born, so he may not be a naturalized citizen after all. And there's a question of whether he... And also, he's just an idiot. I can't stand Ted Cruz. He says some of the dumbest things. Carly Farina, she used to be the head of HP, and she ran that company into the ground. So how can you say you're a good leader when you can't even do a good job as CEO?
Right.
And Mike Huckabee, he's just like a religious nut.
Well, he got really off the wall with that whole lady. You know, we went behind the lady that just refused to give a marriage light. That was just nonsense.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He went off the wall.
He just totally lost all credibility and any chance.
Mike Huckabee is the only Republican presidential candidate that I've actually met in person. If you want, I can tell you about that after I summarize. John Kosk, I don't know who he is. I think he might have been a senator, so I have no opinion on him. Senator Rand Paul, not a big fan of his libertarian politics, and he also seems to be a hypocrite. He says he's libertarian, but then he votes for things in the Republican Party that contradict his libertarian ideology.
Right.
So I'm not a big fan of Rand Paul. Marco Rubio, familiar with him, he used to be, or he was a senator from Florida. I'm not a big fan of his policies. I mean, I have less objection to him than I would Donald Trump, but I'm just not a big fan of Marco Rubio, and he's been kind of a weak candidate. Rick Santorum is another religious nutbag. I do not like Rick Santorum. I haven't even seen him mentioned in the news, but he's still listed here as somebody that is running for the nomination. And Jeb Bush, I'm not a big fan of him. I'm not a big fan of the Bush plan. And I didn't like Jeb Bush when he was governor of Florida.
Right.
And then, of course, Donald Trump, redundant, which is, I've already said why I don't like him.
Well, Jeb, right now, he's not really that strong, is he?
He's not very charismatic. He comes off as like a scared little mouse. No offense, but that's just the way I perceive Jeb Bush. It's like, man, really? You're in a bully fight. Donald Trump is a bully. The best way to fight a bully is to punch back. And Jeb Bush seems like he's scared to punch back or criticize Donald Trump in any way. But Mike Huckabee, I met Mike Huckabee in 2010. because I've always had a fascination with Mike Huckabee in 2010, but I met him at a book signing. I was like,
Oh,
well, why not? You know, and I gave him an art peso.
right. Okay.
And I only got to meet him talk to him for about 30 seconds. He seemed superficially nice, but I don't, like I said, he's kind of a religious nut job, and I'm not a big fan of his politics. But
Okay.
yeah, I met Mike Huckabee was at a Barnes and Noble. He had his own tour bus and his own entourage and security, and he was doing a book signing there. And almost everybody who was waiting in line to get a book from Mike Huckabee, they were like between 60 and 70. It was like a citizen camp.
Wow.
And I was probably one of the youngest people there. And that was the interesting thing about the demographic of his supporters. And this was after, he was midterm elections, and he was just trying to sell books. And so I was like, well, I might as well meet him. I know he's probably going to run for president again, and if he ended up becoming president, then I can at least say I met the president. But I don't think he has a chance. I don't think he has a chance of winning, though.
I don't think so anymore.
No, I didn't know that. They were remaking Wonder Woman.
I mean, yeah, I can say about Mike Huckabee, he was superficially nice. I shook his hand.
Joe?
We're doing real life stuff.
I know, but I just looking. I just saw it on come through my Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's my summary of the presidential candidates on the Republican side, which is what's been most of the media focus. Really, on the Democratic side, that third guy, I can't remember his name, he dropped out, so it's pretty much just Hillary versus Bernie.
Right.
So.
All right, guys. I think that's going to be it for Topic Wonders. I'm going to talk to you guys off air. I got some questions for you, Steampunk. All right, guys. Take care. Bye for now.